problem statement that yesterday we have discussed. I will just read this problem statement so that we can recall what we are doing. So Vantech is a e-commerce company who works as a mediator between interested parties in selling and buying old ventilators. We can say second-hand ventilators for the year 2019 and 20. Company has recorded the data about seller and ventilators with additional information including specification details, condition of ventilators, seller details, manufacturing details, web advertisement details, and so on. For this, with this data, the company wants to develop an algorithm to predict the price of the ventilators based on the details associated with ventilators. So yesterday we have read this data, and we have done some pre-processing and data cleaning task. And in this pre-processing, we have in the data cleaning, we have just narrow down the range of the variables, because they were keeping they were having some unnecessary information that is not relevant for our analysis. So and we have gone through this program, and we have discussed as this up to this line, and we have also found out some significant and insignificant variables, and we have listed out all these insignificant variables from the data frame. Now we are having only the significant variables that will contribute in the analysis. Now we are going to build a linear regression model and random forest model for data with no missing values and with imputed data, because we are not letting go the missing values. So first we will take the data without missing values, and we will see what is the performance of the models, and then we will impute the data, and we will keep these missing values with the some mean or median type values, so that we can keep the information in the data frame, and we will try to analyze what the performance is for these models. Now first we are going in this line, I am going to drop the missing values, and I'm creating a data frame ventilators underscore NA, and this is the actual data frame and that we have got from the data cleaning, and I'm dropping this NA or missing values. As I will execute, I will have the data frame with no missing values. It will take little time. It is executing, and as you will execute, you will get this column data frame, and in this data frame you can see we are not having any missing values, and the dimension of this data frame is 28,103, because actual data containing the actual data frame is containing the 38,890 samples. So this is the data frame that we have got after dropping the missing values, and no missing values we are having in this variable. Now we are going to get or convert the categorical values to dummy variables, because the both models, linear regression model and random forest model, they do not work with the categorical values. So we have to convert into a numerical value so that we will be able to work with them. So we are going to create a dummy data frame with the 0, 1 values. So in this I have to use pd.getDummies function, and I am passing the data frame with no missing values, and then I am keeping here drop first as a true. So it will create a dummy data frame with the 0, 1 values, and if you will open, so you can see here the dimension of the data frame is 28,103 274, means it is having the 274 columns. Why? Because it is representing that, suppose a ventilator type underscore time it is showing, so means it is, if the type is available it is keeping 1, if type is missing means it is keeping 0, like that for each column it is doing, and creating a this data frame. Now we need to import some necessary libraries for our program, and I'm importing this function train underscore test underscore split, because this is the function that will allow to split the input values and output values for our model. And the second library is mean squared error, that we will calculate for our base model and other models that we are going to create. Now in the our data frame ventilator underscore NA, we are having the all columns, and because the price this is the most significant column that we are going to predict. So this is the output, this is the input, sorry, this is the output feature that we have to exclude from the data frame. So I am keeping here a data ventilator underscore NA dot drop, and I'm dropping this column from this data frame, and I'm keeping in the new data frame X1. Then I am keeping the column price in the output feature that we will use. So these are two data frames we are getting with the input feature and output feature, and these are two different data frames we are going to use for the training set and train set. So first let me discuss this logarithmic value of the y or output feature. So let me execute this data frame. So first we are creating a one data frame with the value of y1 and with the value of logarithmic value of y1. So as I will execute, it will create a one frame with the prices. And in this data frame, we are having an index column, and before means actual y1 values, means price values, and after logarithmic means we are getting the log of natural log of all these prices. So our target is to see what is the nature of the histogram if we are plotting the histogram between these two values. And because our in actual prices we are having the huge values in our price column, so how we can deal with this problem. So let me execute the prices dot histogram. So as I will execute, it will show the two histogram, and you can see here on my screen. And you can see with the actual values of y1 we are getting this histogram, and you can see here too many values means here we are having a more skewed plot here, that is telling us some prices are very we are having the huge differences. And when we are having the logarithmic value of y1, natural log of y1, so we are getting this plot, which is a bell shaped graph or plot. So with this information we want to use the logarithmic value of y1, because it will also help us to execute our program very quickly because prices are very huge. That will slow down our execution. So now we are going to execute. We are going to take the uh, logarithmic natural log of y1 and we are keeping in y1. So now for train set we will take the natural log of y1. So now we are going to execute and we are creating we are splitting the data into two set, test set and data train set. And for train set we are creating two data frame, train x1 underscore x1 and train underscore y1, and for test set test underscore x1 and test underscore y1. Here I am taking x1 and x1 because this is the we are doing with the data with no missing values. Later we will also again try and build the model for the imputed data values. That's why we will keep their y2 or x2. So I'm going to execute and this will give me two data set, train and test. And here this is the thing I want to tell because we are splitting the data into 70% data will go for the train and 30% data will go for test. Now we are going to build a baseline model before going to build the regression model and for random forest model. Why? Because we need to build a baseline model. It will actually set the benchmark for us and we can compare this benchmark model with the model that we are going to build in future. So in order to compare the matrix for that we will compare this. So I will so what is the benchmark model? Let me explain. The base model is that model that replaces the predicted score with the mean value of predicted score. As we will execute this command, so we will get a base predicted the predictive value of the base model. So you can see here I'm taking a mean of test y1. So whatever the mean we will get, this that will be the predicted score of base model. So I will print this predictive score. We are getting the wrong output. Let me execute again, please, because we are getting the wrong. Okay, now we are getting a correct output. Something was wrong, or maybe any command will not couldn't execute it. So now we are getting the base predictive value, and it is 8.212, and this is the only one value you can see here. But this predictive score should be of length test y1. So that's why we are repeating. We are creating a data frame, and in this data frame we will replace all the values with this mean. So as I will execute this command, it will create a base predicted value. So here I'm getting a base predicted value data frame. So you can see in this data frame we are having only the mean, and the dimension of this you can see here the dimension of this data frame is 8431, which is equal to the dimension of the test underscore y1. And because the length of the base underscore predict and test underscore y1 should be same. Why? Because we are going to calculate the mean squared error between these two data frame. So let me explain why we need mean square error, root mean square error. Actually, in order to compare the matrix from that, we also need a base matrix, and we are considering the root mean square as base matrix for the base model. If we are comparing the two model, we require some kind of matrix. So if we are having the matrix, then we can compare. So here we are assuming the root mean square error is our base matrix that will help us to compare these two models, means benchmark model with the model that we are going to create. So now I'm going to create a root mean square error, and root mean square error is the square root of mean squared error. So this is the function mean underscore squared and underscore error. It will return the mean squared error. Then I will take the square root of that. Then it will return the root mean square error. So this is for base model, and I'm using here without missing values. So WM is indicating that without missing values. So now I will print this value. So you can see here it is 1.13, and this is the benchmark for comparison, and any other model that we are going to build in future should give us an root mean square error that is the that should be the less than this value, and this is our objective. So if we are getting the less value, then the model will be considered better, and if we are closing with this value, so the model is not good. So our target is to get the more and more difference, and the value should be close to 0, that we will get the better model. Now because now we are going to create a model for the random forest, and random forest model we will create without missing values. So if you want to create that, we have first we have to import this function random forest regressor. So this is the function of library ensemble, that is the that library of package sklearn. So I will execute this command. Now I will take a random forest regressor function, and with this function I will create a one instance RF, and let me explain what are the input parameters for this function. N underscore estimator, that is the number of trees, because the random forest is basically a forest of trees, and we can use and we have to use the N estimator does, and it basically tells us the number of trees in our forest. And the next input is the maximum feature, which is basically the number of features the algorithm that wants to consider to build the model or to build the trees, which is by default we can have the many options, and here we are keeping here auto, and it automatically chooses otherwise we can also give the square root, which is basically the square root of the number of features. So each tree is built on different features, automatically it will take. So that's why we have kept the auto keyword here. The next parameter is a maximum depth, max underscore depth, and the meaning is that the depth of the each tree, and how deep do you want each tree to go, and that is the given by maximum depth. So here we are keeping here 100. So number of trees are 100 and depth of those trees are 100. Then next parameter is a minimum underscore samples underscore split, and the meaning of this parameter is required for a node to split. Suppose we have only two observation in the node and we don't want that node to split any further. So because it might not make any sense. So in that case, if we want to impose such conditions, we can do it here. So that's why I'm keeping here 10 here, minimum underscore samples, and I'm setting here 4. And it is the minimum number of samples which is required to be at leaf node. And here random underscore state, that is a random generator that will generate the different samples. So here I am keeping here 1 that will create the same sample set each time. So as I will execute, so it will create an instance. Now the next task is to create a model. And in this model, I will fit the model on the train set. So here the set is train underscore x1 and train underscore y1. That will create a model with means that will train the model on this train set. Now it will take little time. And in the next command, we will print the value with the random forest model, and to get the predicted score we have to execute the predict function. And in this prediction function we will pass the input parameter, which is test underscore x1. So now I will execute this command to get the predicted score, and let me print. So you can see here our data frame, one-dimensional data frame, or we can say a series of the numbers I am getting, and this is the predicted score of this. Now we are going to compute the root mean square error. Why? Because we have to see how close means how the model is working. So first we have to calculate the root mean square error. So error means if the error is less, means our model is performing better. If error is larger, then our model is working bad. So we are getting a 0.44, which is half of the root mean square of the base model. You can see here the root mean. This is the root mean square of the base model 1.13, and the root mean square of our random forest model we are having the 0.44, which is more than half, means 60% less than that root mean square, means the model is working well, and that is the things that we want. And this is a good indicator that our random forest is performing good. And let's compute R squared value here. So R square value will tell you how good is our model to explain variably in y. So that's why we are going to calculate the R square value for the test and R square value for the train wave. For both cases we are calculating the R square value. So you can see here we are having the 0.84 and 0.90, which is a very good score. Means it is nearly 1. Means as I want to tell you the R square is close to 1, then means we are getting a good score, means our model is performing well. If the because the value of the R square lies between 0 to 1. So if it is close to 1, means it is better. If it is close to 0, means it is bad. So our score we are getting 0.84 and 0.9, which is a very good score. So means random forest model is working well. Now have a quick regression analysis. So in the next step, we are going to see the regression analysis and with the residual plot analysis. So with this analysis, I am going to calculate something called residual, and this residual is nothing but the difference between our test model and our predicted score. So as I will execute, I will get a RF underscore residual underscore WM. Now I'm going to see the scatter plot between the our residual and predicted score. So you can see we are getting a very good graph, and it is very close to 0. That is a good value. This is the good because the residual to be close to 0, and since residual are more and more of errors, we want the errors to be less, and that tells us that our predicted and our actual values are very closer, and this can also be seen from the describe function. If you will execute the next command, that will explain describe your residual. So you can see here minimum mean is 0, which is indicating that your model is performing well, and your median is also 0.01. So we can say we are having a very good performance of a random forest model on this data set with no missing values. Now we are going to build a model for the linear regression and without missing values. And to build the model, we have to use the linear regression function, which is a part of library linear underscore model and of the package sklearn. So we have to import this function. Now I am going to create an instance of the linear regression model, and in this model, to create this instance, I have to use the linear regression function, and I have to set the fit underscore intercept is equal to true. So as I will execute this command, it will create an instance of this linear regression model, and I want to fit this model with the train set, train underscore x1 and train underscore y1, and as I will execute this command, so I have fitted this model on this train set. Now I'm going to predict the value of this model on the test set, test underscore x1. So if you will execute this command, it will give the predicted score of linear regression model. Let me print. So you can see here we have got a series of 9.2 and 7.5. This is the predicted score of linear regression model. Now we are going to compute the root mean square value that will help us to compare with the base model value. So we are calculating this root mean square value for this linear regression model. So as we will print, we will see. So 0.48 we are getting, means which is also more than half difference we are getting, and we have seen that this root mean square value for the base model is a 1.13, and it is a 0.4, which is very close to 0. So means the linear regression model is also working well, but it is greater than the root mean square of random forest. Means the random forest is working well, better than the linear regression model. You can see here. So this is the 0.44 for the random forest model. Now for linear regression model, it is a 0.48, which is larger than the root mean square error of random forest. Now let me compute the R squared value for the linear regression model. That will also show the will help us to compare. Means we have to see it is close to 1 or not. As I will execute this command and I will print. So you can see here 0.81 and 0.82 value we are getting, which is very close to 1, means it is also performing well, but not performing more than the random forest model. If you will compare these two values with the random forest, so we are getting 0.84 and 0.9, which is better than the linear regression model. So now we are going to see the regression diagnostic or regression analysis for the linear regression model. So first we have to calculate, and then we have to see the scattered plot between the predictive score of linear regression model and residual. As I will execute, we will see. So means it is also showing that our RS residual is very close to 0, and we are getting a good performance for the linear regression model for this data set. We can also see the see the summary of the residual, and the mean for this is 0.01, which is also almost 0, and the median is also 0.02, which is also very close to 0. So if our model is means the residual is very close to, or our root mean square is very close to 0, then we say our model is good. Now we are going to impute the data. Why? Because we want to consider the missing values in our data frame. We don't want to let it go. So now if we will include the missing values with the and we will fill them with the some other something in those places. So what will be the performance of the model for these missing values? So now if you want to impute the data, so you have to apply lambda function, and you have to apply the fill n function, and with this fill n function we will keep the values in those places, and we are going to replace these missing values or n values with the x dot median. So if you will see in the column, we will see the column median, and that column median will replace the n values. For the categorical data, so if the data type is float, then we will keep float. In if it is a categorical, so we will keep the most frequent category in those places. So I'm going to execute this command. So we are creating a ventilator underscore imputed data. So we are getting this score. You can see here in the ventilator underscore NA, which was the data with no missing values. Now we are having the missing values, and you can see here we are having the 38,890 samples in this data frame, and the number of column is 9. So it is a dummy along with the dummy. That's why it is showing the 274 column. Now we will apply the dummies for this data frame also. And if you want to check the whether we are having the null values or not, you can execute the isNull command. So it will show that in this data frame we are not having any missing values. We have filled with the median and most frequent category. Now we are going to convert our categorical variables into our numerical variables. Means it will create, we can create with the help of the get underscore dummies function. Now we are going to split the input and output features as we have done previously. So we are excluding the price from the data frame, and we are keeping in x2. That will be our input data frame. You mean or the data frame with the input features. Now we are keeping the output feature in a y2. So we are getting now we can see the same analysis we can also do here. means y2 natural log of y2 we can also see. So if you want to see, so you can execute this command, and prices dot histogram we are executing. We can see here the histogram. Again we are having the huge different huge values of the prices, so it is a highly skewed plot. So if you want to get a bell shaped plot, you can use the logarithmic value of y2. So now in our analysis we are going to use the natural log of y2. So I will execute this command. So we in our y2 we will get all these values, and in this y2 data frame we are having only the natural log of y2. Now we are going to use this x1 and x2 and y2, these two input and output features for the train set and test set. We are splitting here. So now if you want to see the dimension of these sets, you can execute train underscore x2 dot shape. So you can see here in this we are having 27,223 samples in a train set of x2, and train set of test set of x2 we are having 11,667. Means this is the 70% data of this data frame, and this is the 30% of data set. Now we are going to build the baseline model before the random forest model and linear regression model. Again, the same process we will also follow for this analysis. So we are taking a base underscore pred underscore impute this data frame. We are this variable we are creating, that will be the mean of test underscore y2. So this is, and we will print this value. So now you can see here, this is the mean value of y2, and it is 8.01, and we are going to replace this mean value, and we are creating a benchmark benchmark test set to compare with our model. So I will repeat the same mean value in this data frame. The length of this data frame will be equal to the length of the test underscore y2. Now we are going to calculate the root mean square, which is a base matrix that will help you to compare. So now you can see the base matrix of this base model. It is 1.19, which is greater than the previous base model with no missing values, and it is greater than that. Now we are going to see the performance of the random forest model and linear regression model. First we will see the random forest model, and we are going to create a instance of this model. And now we are going to create a random we are going to train this model with the train underscore x2 and train underscore y2. Now we are going to predict the model on test set. Now we are going to print. So as you will execute this command, rf underscore predict underscore impt equal to rf underscore impt dot predict, and we are passing the input parameter test underscore x2. It will take little time to execute. So you can see here, as the data set will be larger than the our performance will get slow. So here we are having only 28,000, 38,000 data set samples in this data frame. So this is the performance. If you will compute for the 1 million data set, so it will take too much time. So this is the values of this predicted model, and now we are going to compute the root mean square for the random forest model with imputed data. So you can see here root mean square value. So the mean square error for this random forest model is 0.50. So you can see here the random forest model for the data with no missing values is 0.44, and here the root mean square for this data set is 0.50, means the random forest is not working well, means it is working well, means it is close to 0 but not better than that value. Now we can also see the R squared value for the trend and test set. Now the values are 0.82 and 0.89. This is very close to 1, and it is also performing well, but not that random forest model that we are doing with the data with no missing values. Now we are going to see the scattered plot with the residual variable. So you can see here the similar plot we are getting here, and it is showing that it is good or it is performing well. And here the mean is negative 0.01, means less than 0, and it is median is also minus 0.00, so means it is performing very well. So you can judge here the how it is performing. Now we are going to work with the linear regression model with the imputed data. And first I was thinking to give the chance to execute this linear regression model so that you can do in the practice part, but now we are having the time, so we can see the performance of the linear regression model now. So we are creating a instance of the linear regression model, and now we are going to build a model on the trend set, means we are going to train the model on the trend set, and then we will see the predicted score of linear regression model with the imputed data on the data set. Now we are going to calculate the mean square error, and then we are going to create a root mean square error of this linear regression model. So if you will print this value, it is a 0.67, which is also very close to 0, but it is not as well as, or it is not working as good as the random forest model is working. So in both cases you have seen that the random forest model is working better than linear regression model. So if you want to see the, you can also calculate the R squared values of this model. So R squared values are very less, means very less than the random forest model in each case. So it is 0.68 and 0.6893. Now we can see the output, overall output of our analysis. So I'm going to execute all this complete output. As you will execute, you can you will be able to see the root mean square error and R squared values for each case. So you can see here it is R squared for trend from a linear regression model, it is 0.82, and R2 for the test from the it is a 0.81. And if you will compare with the random forest and linear regression model, so it is a linear regression model and it is a random forest model. So random forest model is working well, and in both cases are squared error more than that value for the linear regression model. And now you can also compare the root mean square value with the Bayes model. So if you will compare, so the root mean square value for the random forest model is very less than both linear regression model as well as Bayes model that we have built for the benchmark set. If you want to compare the values for the imputed data values, so you can see here again the random forest model is working well, better than the linear regression model. And here the if you will compare the root mean square value in each case, so it is 0.5 and 0.6, which is less than benchmark. But in this case also the random forest model is working well. And if you will see the overall, so if you will see the overall, so the random forest model is working better than the linear regression model and Bayes model in both cases. But if you will see what is the effect of the missing values, if you are taking the missing values, then the both model are not working well, are not working well as good as the model are working in the data set with no missing values. So I'm not telling that the model will always work with the missing with no missing values. It can also better perform with the imputed data, but it depends. It depends your on your squared or root mean squared values. But most of the cases, the data science people, they don't want to let it go this information, because if you will drop the missing values, the data set will get reduced, means the number of samples will get reduced. In our case, you can see we had 38,000 samples in our data set, and if you are working with the no missing values, means we are getting 28,000, around 10,000 data samples we have dropped due to the missing values. But the data science people, they want to include these records also, these samples also in the analysis, so that they can improve the model also. But it depends on the nature of the data. What is the nature? So means here in our data set we didn't get the good performance if we are including the missing values and we are replacing them with the median or mean. So here in this our analysis, we have replaced the missing values with the median. But if you want to see, you can also see with the mean. If you can also replace the values in data imputation part. If you want to replace the values with the mean, you can also here we are using the median. You can also use the mean. Here we are using the most frequent, means topmost category of this variable. So you can also replace with mean and you can see the performance also. Here we are not going to execute the linear both model for the mean. So that's it. It was all about